Okay, let's start with a quick welcome and introduction. So welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us for this live webinar. Today we are going to discuss the critical data required to give your enterprise customers the insight they need to basically boost their satisfaction and, not less important, your bottom line. My colleagues, Lior and Michael, will talk about how you can transform customer data into a powerful competitive advantage in the enterprise voice market. Just some very quick housekeeping notes before I hand it over to the guys. We have a large audience, so all participants are placed on mute. Videos are turned off. If you have any questions along the way, don't be shy. Just put them in the Q&A session you see at the bottom, and we'll address them later. Having said that, Lior, Michael, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Lior Penn, and I'm VP Sales here at VoIP Future. I'll be kind of running you through the first part of this presentation, and then I'll hand this over to my colleague, Michael, which will get into some examples of what's going on. You should be seeing my screen, and it should be changing right about now. Let me know. Michael, just nod if it changed.
Yep.
Perfect. So a quick introduction about VoIP Future. VoIP Future, we're a German-based company. We were founded in 2007, and we sit in Hamburg. Our mission is to enable premium voice service quality at service providers around the world. We do this with a unique technology that we've developed over the years. It's used for assessing, aggregating, analyzing, visualizing voice quality information for better data-driven insights. And I know it's a lot of buzzwords, but they're important. And I think the most important, especially for this webinar, is the data-driven insights, which I'll talk about. We will talk about them throughout this presentation. From a protocol point of view, everything that's voice over IP we cover. So this should cover you from your use cases. We're also working with the large hyperscalers of cloud, so AWS and Google. We've got numerous installations there with already customers using the system. Also, we've got a large traditional install base of tier ones. You can see some of the names here at the bottom, just to give you an idea of who we work with. So what we're going to be talking about today is what you can do with data, and I think one of the most important things is how to monetize it. And I think traditional monitoring networks, monitoring systems are tactical in nature. People use them because they want to maintain and manage their network. And it's mostly used by operations, working on customer tickets and doing network performance. So tool ROI in the traditional way is focused on savings due to high operational efficiency, and to be able to understand what kind of service quality that you're providing to your customers. What we're offering here is something a little bit different, is using that data to be able to monetize it for your benefits. We actually saw this is kind of a part of the TNCs of one of our customers, which kind of started this whole kind of train of thought in our company. And they were talking about drop call compensation. So if you see here, bullet 12 was like any drop calls experienced while using VoLTE will be compensated with on-net minute or minutes. So here we've got a customer that's using our drop call detection system that they know drop calls are happening at their customers. They're compensating them back with minutes to be able to compensate them for issues going on their VoLTE network. So what we're offering basically is saying, use your existing data that you have to increase your revenue and reduce your costs at the same time. So some examples of what we've seen our customers do is, I think one of the most important things is to increase their brand value, like their brand awareness. churn prediction. So if you know that they're unhappy customers, be proactive about it. Reach out to them. Maybe you'll be able to save them. And of course, verification of service level agreements, as we can see with the B2B and NGN solutions, we've got more and more businesses that are reliant on voice quality, and they're demanding that you adhere to the SLA. And one of the ways to be able to do this is to empower your customers, and this is what I'm exactly going to be talking about that. So the Crystal Data Foundation can be used for many things. So I think that the most basic thing that it lets you do is to ensure efficient operations of your network, right? So this is traditional monitoring tools, but that helps you increase your customer satisfaction, and this gives you the ability to automate your service management. That's another topic and a webinar by itself, which we're not going to get into right now, but the data is, you need accurate data of the network performance to be able to do this. And the last thing is to be able to use that data that you have to empower your customers. And one of the examples is self-serve portals, which we're going to focus on this presentation. So why should you do this? I think the number one point is differentiation, right? Not a lot of CSPs feel comfortable, service providers feel comfortable of giving the customers a peek under the hood to understand what's going on the service that they're getting. Another reason is data as a service. So you can enhance your brand value with sharing the data with your customer. This has many benefits to the customer itself. Potentially fewer customer tickets, because if customers have access to the data, they can see that issues are being initiated on their side, then they won't even reach out to you. So this is something that they can take care of by themselves. So it's kind of a filter empowering your customers to be able to do the initial troubleshooting before even reaching out to you. And we've seen this with our customers. And the final thing is selling troubleshooting services to your customer. So if the issue is not on your side, but you can very clearly see it's on their side, and they're having issues resolving it, this is something that you can charge more for or give away for free. But you're giving them something that's valuable to them. And of course, I think the last thing that we've heard from our customers, it's just that they love it. The fact that they have visibility into what they're doing and the service that they're getting and giving gives them a lot of value. I'm going to hand this over to Michael now.
Thanks, Leo.
Michael, I'm giving you access, and I will mute myself so that I won't jump in.
Okay, no, just 1 sec, because I have one thing to add to the list, and that's something that we will see on one of the next slides. Customers love it, even if they didn't ask for it beforehand. But I know, at least from some German customers, that that customers are making this a requirement. So they put sort of the ability to get access to their own quality data, to their own service performance data through a portal or some other means. They make this part of RFQs, and we'll see some examples of how these RFQ requirements led to an actual portal and product. So basically, what I will be showing next is some actual examples of dashboards for network operation centers, portals for end customers, and also basically all of this data can be fed to third-party systems of any kind. Lior mentioned service automation. As he said, that's an entirely different story, but technically, in terms of accessing the data or making use of it in a different context other than service operations and troubleshooting, it's very similar. So Crystal and Leo, I think we'll mention it at the end, provides tons of data for voice service operations. That includes, from RTP measurements, the packet loss, jitter, MOS scores, things that you would expect, but also a whole lot more, and also like KPIs that are pretty unique, standardized by Etsy right now, but basically to monitor the user experience and the voice service performance using a proper KPI and not on a scale of 0 to 100%, and not sort of like the MOS score where you need some level of experience to interpret what's actually going on, whether it is good or bad. So basically, the KPIs that we deliver and use through Crystal are intuitive, accurate, and widely accepted in the market. And I'm referring here to those that are obviously not the standard ones, the signaling KPIs that everyone knows, but like these media playing KPIs. But in the end, our customers have access to all the data. And if I now move on to the next one, you will see one example. You'll see the first example, and that's basically what I refer to, what was made part of contract signature. So here we have an enterprise portal that was developed by a CSP for large enterprise customers using SIP trunking services. And these include insurance companies, banks, large government agencies. So like customers with thousands and tens of thousands of lines. And the portal allows the customers to check their service usage and quality. And all of the data is basically coming from VoIP Future Crystal. Yeah, basically gives the customers a peek under the hood, as Leo mentioned. So this is the screenshot here on the right-hand side. We use an anonymized customer, but this is what they basically see after login. They see on the left side, don't know if you see my mouse moving, but you see a list of trunks, which basically corresponds to the sites where they have interconnections with the CSP. And if you hover your mouse over it, it will show some first details, the incoming calls on that day, the outgoing calls, and the GMR, the good minute ratio, which means like call minutes where the MOS is above 4.0, so good voice quality for the incoming traffic and for the outgoing traffic, and the overall service state, which basically mixes all the relevant KPIs into one metric, so you have one-stop shop on the overall quality. If we move on, here's another screenshot, and here you can basically then drill down to a specific site and see the metrics for this site. Again, the total, the overall status, again, the service state, the total established calls, the average call duration. So, number of failed calls, unconnected calls. So metrics that you would expect, but also, again, the good minute ratio that I mentioned, the number of concurrent calls, which is really important for planning and sizing your trunks and knowing when you, due to traffic growth, you hit the ceiling and you need to expand, and which is, just as important for the customer as it is for the CSP. And I think there's another screenshot for this one. So yeah, this basically what I just mentioned. So this portal here that you see, and there's, this was just an excerpt of the data that you get, was basically triggered by customer demand. So these banks, insurance companies, etc., that I mentioned. They made it conditional to contract signature that they get this sort of information. And today, after a couple of years now that this is in operation, it's basically standard service for all the bigger customers. As Lior said, they really depend on it and also enjoy it. And it's a basis for talking to the customers on a regular basis and seeing, how you can improve and, how to scale the service up, down, whatever. And it's just a very useful tool to get on the same page with the customers. So next up is a different example. More or less the same data actually, but just presented in a very different way. And here we're looking at a wholesale portal for a wholesale business. And as you know, this is an extremely competitive and very low margin market. And basically, this was sort of developed as a differentiator towards the competition. This carrier uses their internal service quality to attract larger accounts and basically, again, giving them the data and giving them, hard information on the service quality and of what is provided by the carrier, but also what the customers are delivering to the carrier with it, which is just as important because that especially in this enterprise market, but also in the wholesale domain. The call quality depends on a lot of different parties because the packets travel a lot of different networks, and basically you can do your best, but the customer or the end user basically can still have a bad experience just because someone in the chain is not up to par. And so having this view basically helps to isolate, avoid the blame game of, shoving around responsibilities, but really be able to say, okay, this is a problem that's coming from this end of the network, and this is a problem that's coming from our end of the network. The report that you see here basically gives you information on country and the quality by country and destination. And so you can basically select Australia and say, okay, what's the quality of calls going to Australian mobile and to the Vodafone there. And you see how many call attempts there have been, how many minutes were exchanged, the network efficiency ratio, so the signaling quality basically, the average call duration, again, the good minute ratio. So again, 99% of the minutes here in this case had a MOS above 4.0, so everything is really looking good. And down here you see sort of the call volume per day over time. And again, this is just an example. The data is there for also lower resolutions, and our customers have full access to it and can use this data in any way. This one here, while the example one was developed by the customer themselves, this one we did for the customer. And basically they are presenting this to or giving access to this to their bigger accounts, as I mentioned. Just see me flip to the next page. Okay, here you have another view, again with the 15-minute resolution, and you see sort of how the quality develops over time. In this case here, the media quality, And you also see, which is actually just as important, because you don't just want to know that something, or that the user experience was not the best. But if that's the case, you want to know why, and here you get an indication that, like it's coming from loss, different forms of loss, and different forms of jitter, and actually the user can then drill down from here to the actual crystal tool to get really deep insights into the possible root causes, etc. Like the CSP, not the actual customer, of course, but I mean that would be, I think, a bit too much of transparency. Yeah, let's go to the next example, and this is again this wholesale customer, and they're using the same data not just for their customer portal, but also internally for NOC dashboards. So basically here you see like each line is a destination, and then each column in the green boxes are different. No, sorry, each line is a carrier, an interconnection carrier, and the columns are the actual destinations. And then you see for different KPIs, for the NER, for the SER, for the ACD, and for the MOS, just a high-level indication of how things are going. And so you have in one big matrix, you have an overview of the entire traffic by carrier and by destination, and you immediately see where things go down the drain, if they go down the drain. And like I said, again, it's the same data, just presented in a different way, and just shows how flexible the database architecture and the data provided by Crystal is. So again, here this nice picture, but in the end it shows sort of the quality of links between different sites, and again using measurements, very low-level measurements done on the actual network links, and then basically aggregated to different logical levels. So I mean the physical layer looks even more complicated, of course, but or is even sort of finer, has finer granularity. But here, for example, if you see that a network link between Frankfurt and Madrid goes down, it would turn red, and you could then, again, this is for operations, drill down and see what's going on actually. Yeah, and that was it. That was just a couple of examples of what customers are doing with our data, and I'm even sure that there's customers who do things that we don't even know about, because access to the data is open. And yeah, I'll hand over back to Leora. Go ahead.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, those are some great examples of what our customers are doing with this. So what do you need to be able to do this? I think one of the most important things is confidence in your data. What we've seen from our customers and from other solutions that are available on the market, that you need to be able to verify the data and to be able to trust it. And this is one of the key feedbacks we're getting from our customer, that the data actually reflects the way the network is performing. So the confidence in the data must be.
Yeah, maybe if I can add, because I mean this is really key, because I know from many other tools which they also provide a MOS, so they pass that hurdle on in any RFQ, because it says MOS something somewhere on some screen. But the way that the MOS is determined is sort of overly optimistic, and there's nothing worse actually than telling your customer that the MOS is super, and they say, no, it actually isn't. I'm getting complaints. So this is really key, that the data that you show really matches the user experience, and they don't get the feeling that you're telling them a rosy picture and painting a rosy picture, and it's just not true.
Yep. And just to add to that, I think to be able to trust your data, you need to look at two things. First thing is the signaling, right? So the availability of the service itself, and the media KPIs, which are the in-call user experience. And
Leor, I think, did you auto mute?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
about
better. Yeah.
So I guess you kind of missed that as well. So what I said was, I think that two main concerns, main aspects that you need to look at when you're looking at data, to be able to provide the kind of data and reliable data, is two parts. You need to look at the signaling, so the availability of the service itself, and also be able to look at the in-call user experience, so the in-call quality. So this is kind of where I'll get into Crystal. So what Crystal is our main product. Crystal is a voice over IP monitoring and analytics solution. We're the leading solution on the market that integrates control plane and media plane analytics. We provide deep insight into 100% of all the traffic, and we also provide you automatic detection of root causes, because we very early on understood that it's not about giving you a must score of a call. It's actually giving you the tools to be able to manage and maintain your network, and this is a critical part of our company's DNA. Architecture is designed to support Tier 1 CSPs. We're a software solution, we're scalable, and we also work on-prem, on cloud, and also hybrid deployments. Our two main goals that we kind of have written on our flag is to help our customers achieve operational efficiency while ensuring that the service quality meets the customer expectation. And at the end of the day, we need to help you provide voice services. We're all used to talking to each other, and if we're selling our service to customers or businesses that need to talk to their customers, they're expecting to get that quality from us. And this is where kind of we help in that scenario. Something nice that Gartner said about us a while back is Crystal's patented technology converts network-related data into business outcomes. And as I said, it's not just about the must score of 3.76 for that call or that leg of a call. It's actually how is that impacting the call itself, the user experience, and what are the problems to be able to look at this and fix it. So Crystal, in a nutshell, just to kind of explain how we kind of build this data. Remember I said everything here is data-driven. So how do we build this data? We're a passive monitoring solution for SIP and RTP-based voice services. We integrate voice quality assurance and root cause analysis using patented time slicing technology. I'm not going to get into that in this presentation. If anybody wants some more information, please reach out. We have ample data on our website, YouTube, or just reach out to us and we can share more data of how we do this. As I said, we're a distributed solution. We get a copy of the traffic to our probes. Our probes analyze 100% of all the SIP and RTP in memory in real time. And then they send a very light summary to the Crystal manager. The manager does post-processing, analysis, display, storage, integration to third-party systems, and so all the data is stored in the Crystal managers. All the correlation is also done in the manager. Reporting, alarming everything is done there. But that's also where our data warehouses are, and that's where you can get all the data from. One key thing that we do, I think, is we believe in that it's your data, your way. Michael kind of brought that kind of sentence into the company because we strongly believe in that. We're an engineering tool that has tons of data, but we've seen our customers use this data for many other use cases. And we've kind of decided to open this availability to the data, and our customers are really appreciating that. So just from a high-level deployment scenario, what this would look like, you'd monitor around the edges of the network. That depends on what kind of services you're looking to do. You can monitor end-to-end. You can monitor parts of your network. You can just monitor just specific businesses that you want to do. But our probes are just 2 comments about the probes. First is they're data agnostic, so we don't care what kind of data you're sending them, basically a use case. If it's a mobile, if it's interconnection, if it's NGN, if it's enterprise, really don't care. And the second thing is that they're agnostic to the vendor, so we don't really care what vendor you're using. You can just give us a copy of the traffic, the SIP at RTP, and we are able to analyze this. I just want to be mindful of the time. We're running a little bit over. I do apologize. If anybody has any questions, just throw them in the chat, and we will get to them. As I mentioned, to be able to analyze user experience, you need to look at 2 things, right? So the signaling side and the media side, for the call connectivity and the in-call user experience, and that combination gives you that superior insight to be able to manage and maintain the service quality, and also to build all the data that you saw on those end customer portals. What does this look like? This dual visibility look like in our system? I'll just go over this quickly. So here you've got a call. This is a CDR level of a call. I think we've all seen millions of these in the past. You've got some indicators here telling you what's going on. You've got a start time, session duration time, the calling number, a call number, and other information about the call. When you add the signaling part to this, you can see that there were 2 signaling events, XDRs. They both ended with 200 OK. So in a traditional kind of monitoring tools, almost a 90-second call ended with 200 OK. Unless somebody would have complained, this is not something that anybody would go and investigate in a proactive way. What we've seen from our customers, that 80% of the issues or calls that had issues are actually not being reported. So this is, for example, if nobody would complain, this is a call that would have gone unnoticed and non-investigated by the, let's say, the operations, right? Or troubleshooting team. But let's see what happens when we add that dual visibility. When we look at the in-call user experience, when you look at that media side, we can see that the call was monitored 4 times throughout the network. So we have A to B and B to A, right? So 4 times. In this case, we have 2 probes, probe 1 and probe 2. And you can see that the B party was sending great traffic to the A party. So if your B party is your customer sending the data to your call center, the call center could hear them great, but the customer couldn't hear the call center. And this is kind of where the problems start. And we have directional awareness to be able to tell you this very, very quickly. Right, if this is, let's say you take this data, don't show this level, but to the end customer portal, right? You'd show that the problem is coming from their side, from the customer side toward the service provider, towards you. This is the kind of level that we follow. And of course, when you look at this, you can also see this very quickly. But this is the kind of level and information that we can give to the customer. And you can already see this here, right? So the transport quality from the customer side, from the call center side to the end customer, this is where the problem was, right? So this is something that issue started from the moment this call hit our network. So this is a very clear problem saying it's on your leg. And now you can help you troubleshoot it, but just that you know, you don't need to open a ticket with us because this is not something on our side of the system. So just kind of to start wrapping this conversation up, this webinar. So we look at, Michael mentioned KPIs, the dual visibility. You need to be able to look at all the signaling KPIs, and you also need to be able to look at in-call user experience. That combination of that dual visibility is what is needed to be able to provide this kind of data-driven insights for your customers. So just to wrap this up, last slide from me is we look at 100% of all the traffic, registration data, both call directions for directional awareness, any monitoring point throughout the network, down to 5-second time slices of every RTP stream on the network. We do network segmentation, border control to be able to actually say where the problems are for quick troubleshooting. You've got smart indicators, which I haven't got into here, but you've got actually smart indicators to tell you what the problem is and how to solve it. We've got smart packet recording. If you do need to listen to the recording itself of what was in the RTP in the media, we do offer that as well. Call flow ladder diagrams are also available. Full correlation, grouping, aggregation of data, drill down, drill up through the interface is all available. Alarming, exporting of data, integration to third-party systems, and long data retention are all built in. And I think, if I add one thing to this slide, is kind of your data your way. And as you can see here from the right, so exporting of data, integration, and long data retention give us the capabilities to do all this. If it's integration to existing portals that you might have, or if you need something custom for a specific use case, we have a lot of experience doing that for our customers. I kind of, high level. So what we've heard from our customers, it's 80% less time to detect and fix, 96% decrease in drop calls and silent calls, 100% visibility into all the data. We've got a zero hassle licensing model that includes exporting of data to third-party systems. I do apologize for going over a little bit. I didn't see that there were any questions from anybody, and
yeah, there is actually one, and that actually addresses the licensing, but it's sort of how does the licensing model work, especially because we say zero hassle in licensing, but also before your data your way. What does that mean? How's licensing working? The license model.
Sure. So we've got one license that you get everything in it. It's based on the number of concurrent measured calls that we have in the system. It depends also on the size of the system. It's got tiers to it, but that's it. Once you have a license, there's no hidden fees. You have access to all the data. If you want a turnkey project, then that's on a project basis and can be customized to your needs. But as I said, getting access to the data and the entire system itself, and integration even to your system, is stuff that's available from us. I think on that note, I will thank everybody. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully this was beneficial. If you want more info, this is our general sales that goes directly to me. So please feel free to reach out. And in any case, we'll be sharing a link to this webinar that you can share with your colleagues and some additional information. So thank you very much, everybody. Wishing everybody a good day and continuation of your week. Take care and see you next time.
Bye-bye.